to the Ronline report. We have a great guest today. She's very popular in the forums, very popular in the industry. This is from the UK, Women's Physique Pro, Rosie Rascal Harte. Welcome, Rosie.
Hello, thank you for having me.
First question, Rascal, where'd you get the nickname?
Yes. Okay, so this nickname was given to me by my ex-husband, and this was because when I used to diet, I used to find it really, really hard, and I was always craving cookies and chocolate and everything, and I was like a naughty kid. I would go off and sneak and eat food on my diet, and I would be asking if I could have cookies, and he would be telling me no, and I used to throw like little mood swings, like a little naughty rascal, like a little 4-year-old wanting a cookie. Okay. So he called me a little rascal, and it just kind of stuck. And I think because I'm a little bit of a cheeky character anyway, it kind of suits me. Absolutely. Anyway now, even though I've stopped the cookie behavior.
Okay. All right, now I'll get into more of a real question. I've read a few interviews with you, but I don't know how you got into all this. How did you get into bodybuilding, physique, this whole muscle weight training kind of thing that we do?
Yeah. Well, I was a dancer before.
Yeah.
I was a dancer and a singer, and I'd done dancing since I was 3 years old. And that was kind of always what I dreamed I was going to do and what I was going to be when I was older. I wanted to be like a famous pop star or dancer or something. Yeah. And then I was at university in my final year studying contemporary dance. And the tutor said that I needed a little bit more body strength. Because I was very technically good, I was very flexible, but some of the movement I just couldn't do because I just wasn't strong enough. So I started, weight training, and at the same time I met my ex-husband who taught me how to train and everything. Yeah. And he was the first one who kind of looked at me and said, you could be really good, actually. This was when I was like, I don't know what the weight would be in the weight that you guys in America would understand better, but I was about 6 stone. It's like, it must be something like 41 kg or something really crazy. Is that even worse?
Oh boy, no, that's actually, I can convert kilograms. Pounds, I'm a little lost, but okay.
Maybe it was like under 100 pounds anyway, really, really, really light.
Okay.
But he could see my shape and my structure, and so I just started going to the gym really to strengthen for the dance. And by the time I finished my degree, I'd completely turned my back on my dancing, and I was full steam ahead into bodybuilding. And that's what I wanted to do. I decided that I wanted to try and become a pro bodybuilder. Okay. Like straight away, that was the goal.
Now you started off in figure, is that correct? Or did you start off in bodybuilding? I started off in figure because I was so small. So I competed in the classes, in the categories that I knew I would do well in. Yeah. To start with. So I started in figure, then I moved over to NABA with trained figure as I got a little bit bigger. All the while I still knew that bodybuilding was what I wanted to do. Yeah. And the main reason for that was just because the bodybuilding poses is when my body looked best. Even though I was small, as soon as I would hit a double bicep or, a rear double bicep, that's when my physique came alive. So to do any other category just seemed stupid. Right. So yeah, I worked my way up in the trained figure, won all the competitions that I wanted to win in that.
and I think it was we need Giles now for all the dates for the Rain Man dates. I think it was 2010 that I moved over to bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He actually made some notes for me because he didn't want me to screw this up. So you transitioned from figure in 2010 when you were at the NAB organization to bodybuilding. He said a lot of people said you were crazy because you were just way too small to be a bodybuilder. But clearly you didn't listen.
No, that's like, you know, it was just what I knew I wanted to do, and I knew that I had the capabilities of doing it. And for me, I always knew, and I still know, that I'm always going to be one of the smallest because that's just the way I'm built. Yeah. But I always felt like I could bring something that would be slightly different and still as eye-catching. So I wouldn't be one of the freaky ones, but I would have a beautiful shape and I would be really feminine, and that would catch people's attention. That's what I always felt. So I kind of stuck with what I believed was a package that would turn heads. Nobody really, there was only maybe 3 or 4 people that really believed that I could do it. And everybody else was telling me that I should stay in figure. The girls are too big in bodybuilding. And then the first year I went in and did bodybuilding, I came, was it second? Yeah, I came second at the British in my first year as a bodybuilder.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was up against big girls. This was in an open class. You know, really tall girls, big, heavy girls. And the winner, Rennie Campbell, I mean, we couldn't be any more different. She's like a real big, freaky bodybuilder, and I was just like this tiny little doll. So it was amazing to see that kind of 2 physiques doing well in the class. And then the following year, I came back and I took the British title as a bodybuilder. So that was definitely one of my, and still is one of my proudest achievements, just because I think it was something that seemed so impossible. And I think it's always important to realize your own potential, even when other people don't. It doesn't matter when other people don't believe in you, as long as you know what you're going to do.
So you won the overall British women's bodybuilding title in 2012. Is this correct? Okay,
yes.
So how is it that I go to the 2013 Arnold Classic and you're competing as an amateur? Why weren't you a pro already?
Yes. Yeah, so in the UK, it's really, really tough to get your pro card. I think there's pros and cons to it. I think it's getting better. They're giving more out. But I think in a way it's good because it's elite.
Right.
If you do get your pro card, it's because you are something special, and it usually means that actually when you get to the pro stage, you're going to do something. With that pro card.
But you were the overall British women's bodybuilding champion in 2012. Isn't that automatic? That's not automatic pro card?
No. They only give 1 pro card out a year in the UK. To the men's overall, it's very, very harder for the women to get a pro card.
Wow.
It was quite a challenging time, actually, because round about the same time that I was feeling like I'd done enough to deserve my pro card, because I won the British, then I came 3rd at the Arnolds. The year after, I came 2nd at the Arnolds.
Yeah.
And still no pro card, but that's just the way it is. It's the rules, so you know it's no problem. Yeah. But it was frustrating because round about the same time was when the bikini girl class was really growing and it was really taking off, and there were girls in the UK in the bikini class that were getting their pro cards that had not done as much as me. So it was a frustrating time.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, but it was really good because I just got my head down, and me and Giles had a conversation, and I just said, the only thing I can do is just work my butt off and get so good, get my physique so good that they have to give it to me.
Yeah.
Because actually now looking back, okay, there was an argument that I deserved my pro card, but now looking back, I think I wasn't ready. And having the pressure of not being able to get it really made me learn so much about how to improve. It just matured me a lot as an athlete. So I think that it was a good thing that I had to really work for that.
Yeah. So I'm trying to remember what year women's physique started. I can't quite pin it down because my memory is just horrific. But when it did come along, did you immediately know this was for you? This was where you really would belong, or no?
No. In fact, when it first came out, the women's physique, everybody was saying to me, you should do women's physique. This is perfect for you.
Yeah.
And I still had my head in the bodybuilding, wanting to do the bodybuilding. Because when the women's physique first came out, some of the competitions I saw, because obviously the criteria, they were still trying to figure out what they wanted. The girls were still figuring out how they should look. And I felt like a lot of the physiques didn't look very complete. They didn't look pleasing to me. It wasn't like that beautiful classic X-frame shape that I was seeing. So I thought, I don't really want to do this class. I don't like it. But as it's developed, I mean, for me, it's the most beautiful class. I think it's incredible now. It's really, really built into something wonderful for the women.
So what does women's physique represent to you, and how is it differ from women's bodybuilding by your point of view?
So I guess we've got to look at why they brought women's physique out. And it's a bit of a taboo subject where there were certain aspects of the female bodybuilding that some people said were a little bit too far. Yeah. It wasn't marketable. It wasn't pleasing to the general public. And it wasn't bringing in people to watch. There was no real there was interest, but not as much as some of the other classes.
Yeah.
So they wanted to bring out a class that would bring some life back into female competitions categories.
Yeah.
And women's physique was a category where the women could still compete at an incredibly high level, but without that sacrifice.
Yeah.
Without taking things to the point of being unhealthy or too freaky. So for me, it's really important that we stick to that.
Yeah.
I think if you're in women's physique and you've got masculine features, you should not be placed.
Yeah.
Because it makes no sense. I think, especially at the pro level now, the competitors and the judges have a responsibility now to really stand by this and make sure that it's feminine, it's something beautiful, it's healthy, because it can be done. It can be done without all the sacrifice.
Yeah.
I've competed, I've trained for 14 years, I've competed since 2007, and I don't feel like I've had to sacrifice anything really. I've got so much out of this sport, and it makes me really sad when I see young girls starting out that think that they have to do things in a certain way.
Yeah.
that is then damaging to their whole future.
Right.
So for me, it's important to be really, really strong with that, and that should be the most important thing when considering a prep for women's physique, the health and the femininity.
Okay. So that being said, who are your favorite women's physique pros among your ranks? Who do you admire in the women's physique right now?
I love Juliana.
Yeah.
You can't not. I just think she's so perfect. Her physique is so perfect. Yeah. She's so unique as well. Like just the way that her muscle sits. I don't really see anyone else like her. And she's very feminine, and I really like the way she comes across on social media. So she seems quite shy and just like a really lovely person. I really like that she just seems like a really nice, down-to-earth person as well. I really like Kira Newman. Yep. I think she came 4th or 5th last year, and then the year before I think she was 2nd.
Yeah, she was.
I like Danny Reardon, the little monster.
Yes, she just met her for the first time a few months ago.
Did you?
Yeah,
what was she?
She's even smaller than you. She made me feel tall. It was cool. Yeah.
I saw her backstage at the Olympia, and she was shuffling around in a little pair of slippers. But I think people that are positive and fun, and just I think it's nice to see like a women's physique competitor, and if they're covered up with clothes, you would never really even know that they did bodybuilding. They could walk down the street and look like a normal cute girl, and then they get in the gym and on stage and it's like freaky. That's what I like.
Now, you talk about fun. You're very much in demand as a guest poser, for exhibitions at contests and so forth, because you don't just go out there and do a routine. You actually have a theme and a costume every time. I've seen some, just a few of them. You've done Super Rascal, you've been Batgirl, Star Wars, Black Swan, Harley Quinn. I mean, it seems like you put a lot of time and effort into making every single performance special. Why is it so important to you to put all that time and effort into doing that?
Yeah, I really, really love that part. I think because my background before bodybuilding was as an artist, I was doing the dancing and the singing and acting. Yeah. When I first got into bodybuilding, after a few years, I kind of had a inner turmoil, questioning whether I'd chosen the right path. Thinking, why did I turn my back on all my performance stuff? Maybe I should have stuck to that. And then when I started realizing that I could put my creativity and everything I'd learned over the years into my routines, it kind of clicked, and it made me think, well, actually, maybe all those years of dancing and acting and everything, maybe that was all just for this now, for my bodybuilding, so that I could bring something fun and different to bodybuilding. And when I don't do my dancing and my singing and stuff for long periods of time, I get quite low. I really miss it. I really miss that creative side. So it's just another outlet for another one of my passions, and I can bring it and combine it with my bodybuilding. So yeah, and I love showing off. I like getting on stage and showing off.
I want to, you mentioned singing, and I don't think a lot of people realize just how talented you are. You were on Britain's Got Talent. You performed in front of Simon Cowell and the rest of the judges there, correct?
Yes.
You've actually had some hits on iTunes and dance charts. Is that?
Yeah.
So are you still involved with the singing to a large extent?
Not so much. Maybe the last 2 years I've not done as much, just because the bodybuilding's been so busy. and I've had other little projects going on, but the singing is always something that's kind of in the background. I like to write a lot. Even if I don't do anything with it, I have a lot of material that I just write. And sometimes I'd go in the studio and just record something, again, just for my own creative outlet. I just enjoy it. But I did a lot of work with a really good producer called Jamie Berry, and he produces a type of music. The genre is electro swing.
Wow.
It's really cool, and it's got a really big following, but actually it's quite a niche thing, I think. So it combines obviously the old swing music with electro beats.
Wow.
And it's really quirky, and it really makes you want to dance. So I did a couple of tracks with him that were very popular. And I often see on YouTube that people have recorded themselves dancing to my song. So I find this like random guy in Germany or something who's doing the shuffle dance to one of my songs. So it's really cool.
I want people to be able to look up, you know, what's like the one you're most proud of that's on YouTube. If they can just put Rosie Harte and then a song title, if they can find it.
Yeah, probably Peeping Tom.
Okay.
Peeping Tom by, it'll say Jamie Berry featuring Rosie Rascal, I think. Yeah, I think that's probably the cutest one. It's good, really fun. The lyrics as well are really cheeky.
I bet. So, you know, Dorian Yates was probably the greatest British bodybuilder, obviously. And after he retired, I didn't see a whole lot of good talent coming out of the UK for a while, but we've got this new wave that you're part of. We've had people like Flex Lewis, obviously, is incredible. Sasan, the new guy. Ricardo Correa, Ryan Terry, Nathan DeAsha, Emma Pavley. Why do you think we're seeing such a resurgence of really good talent? And do you guys all know each other and support and encourage each other?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really exciting time for us now in the UK with this. I think what happened was a few years ago, it was much easier to get your pro card in the UK, and then I think people weren't really doing anything with it, and they made it harder to get it. And for whatever reason, right now they are really rewarding the talent, and they want to help us, and they want to push us, and they're really supporting us. And yeah, everybody knows each other. I saw Ricardo's interview with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Ricardo is hilarious.
He is hilarious.
Yeah, I've known Ricardo for ages. We used to message back and forth, and we were at the British together, and that's when we were both kind of at that stage where we were like dreaming of getting that pro card. So we've gone on our own little journeys, but all the guys now are really, really nice. Emma Pavley, such a sweetheart, the little fitness girl. She's really, really talented. So I'm really excited that she's going to be going to the Olympia. And Ryan Terry, like the nicest guy you can ever meet. So it's a really, really supportive little network, actually. It's lovely.
Now, there's a show that you and Giles are putting together for YouTube. It's going to be a series, the Tiger and Rascal Show. Can you tell me a little bit about the show? What's it going to be all about?
Yeah, I guess we just want to share a little bit of the knowledge we've gained. I mean, Giles has been in the bodybuilding and the fitness industry forever. Yeah, so, you know, and I think you kind of gain, over the years, you gain a little bit of an insight of how things work, and you can really benefit people, I think, that are just starting out, you know, especially trying to guide people so they don't make some of the same mistakes that like I've made or whatever. And yeah, just a different outlet instead of just Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
So it's a bit more so people can really get to know me and get to know Giles. And we want to bring like my whole thing with my training and with all the clients that I train is to work on the mind, the body and the soul. Mm-hmm. So I never just focus on how someone looks. It's always got to be like the whole package of health, mind, body and soul. So I want to try and bring all those three elements and give people helpful tips, training tips, mental coaching, things like that, each episode to support people and just give people little bits of information here and there that they can go away and be like, oh, that's cool, I'll use that. Oh yeah.
See, I thought it was going to be all comedy hijinks and like skits and, you know, things like that.
I think there might be a little bit of that in there.
I hope so. Because you guys are both, you both have a great sense of humor. You're both hilarious in your own ways.
Yeah, there's a little character that you need to watch out for called Instagram.
Instagram?
She's a lovely little old lady.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
need to get the story of how you and Giles got together.
Oh my goodness.
Come on now, let's hear it.
Okay. Okay, it's all just going blurry now.
It was a dark and stormy night. Yes.
Yeah. Basically, like I've known Giles for a few years before we got together, and he actually put me in muscular development.
Yeah.
After I think it was after I did a guest spot in Leeds, and he was blown away by my dancing and my routine and the kind of package I brought. So he put a little piece in the magazine, and I got in touch just to say thank you, and it was really lovely and kind. So we kept in touch after that, and he interviewed me at the Arnold's. I think, were you there, 2013?
I think I was holding the camera, actually, yeah. I know I was there somewhere. I know I was. Yeah.
Hovering around somewhere. Yeah. So he interviewed me there, and we were both still in our previous relationships at the time.
Yeah.
And then I'd recently become single, and I met Giles up at one of the shows in Newcastle, one of the UK BFF shows, and I got chatting to him, and I was saying, oh, I'm single now, and he nearly dropped to the floor.
He's like, yes.
Give me your number. Yes. Give me your number. Yeah, exactly. He was like, why didn't you tell me? So yeah, it was really weird. It was like it's not like we'd ever said anything before, that we've thought anything of each other, but it was almost like we kind of knew when we saw each other at this show.
Well, I mean, you're adorable, and he's a dapper, handsome gentleman. I mean, come on now. It was wasn't that surprising?
Inevitable, really. Yeah. So we just started dating, and we lived maybe like a 2-hour drive apart.
Yep.
So for the first year, we just used to see each other like once a month or whatever, and it was really nice. So yeah, it's just developed into a beautiful thing.
Now, Giles said that you had a dream about him shortly before you started dating. He would not tell me the details of this dream. This is an unrated show, so you can say whatever you want. Well, can you say anything about this dream, or is this not fit for TV?
Let me. This information is in like a really small little box somewhere, tucked away in the back of the head somewhere. Yeah, well, let's just say my nickname. I'm a naughty little rascal for so many reasons.
Okay.
Not just the cookie.
We'll get back into the serious stuff. You have some business ventures going on right now. I know you're doing really well as a coach because I see your posts all the time with your clients before and afters and contest pics, and you're doing a really good job with them. How did you get into prepping clients and coaching?
Yeah. Well, I always used to prep myself. Really, I never had a coach for about 10 years. I always just prepped myself, so I learned an awful lot. I made a lot of mistakes and learned an awful lot. And then round about 2013, I think really it was just because everybody seemed to be coaching, and I was like, well, these guys they don't know what they're doing.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that I was. And I'm still not, I still don't know everything,
right.
But I felt like it was a good time for me to do it because I used to give a lot of information for free. I used to help people for posing for free. I would do diets for free. And then I just thought, well, I really should be making a living here. Yeah. So I started in 2013, and since then I feel like I've just keep developing and honing the skills, and I really feel like I'm getting really good at it now. I have some amazing athletes, really dedicated and gifted athletes, and I love my job. I love working with them. Yeah.
Is it kind of challenging for you as you're, like right now you're how many days out? 10 days out from Tampa?
Yeah.
When you're this close to a show, is it hard to be responding to, 200 text messages a day from clients?
It can be. It can be, but I'm quite on the ball with it. Yeah. It's as long as I find that as long as I just keep on top of it and reply to them, pretty much rather than leaving it and putting things off, I just try and keep on top of it and get back to people straight away. And then, but for me, I don't find it that hard to actually decide what to reply because I know what I'm doing. Yeah. And if they message me with a problem and they're freaking out, I don't freak out because I know what the answer is. I know what to do to solve it. So it's not so stressful.
Well, I mean, if the coach freaks out, that's everyone's gonna lose their shit. So you also have you had a singing and theater dance production in Germany at the end of last year, and you're thinking about taking that to Australia. How do you have? What's going on with that?
Yeah, this was a really incredible opportunity that I'm never going to forget, and it's really changed me actually as a person. It was a lady called Melanie Lane got in touch with me a couple of years ago, and she's a very, very well-known contemporary dance choreographer based in Berlin, and she's from Australia originally, and she's worked with many people, and she's very sought after in Germany. And she decided she wanted to do a dance piece about strong women and about physically strong women and about female bodybuilders, because she felt that you didn't often see anything about female bodybuilders, and that whenever you did, it was always something quite negative. Yeah. So she wanted to delve into that and bring it into the world of art and dance, and see if we could tell a story about it and introduce people to female bodybuilding in a different way, in a positive way. So myself and another IFBB pro called Natalie Schmidt. She's from Germany. She's also competed at the Olympia. We went over and we stayed over in Berlin for 6 weeks. Wow. And yeah, it was so intensive. It was crazy. Because both me and Natalie had to stop training at the gym. We couldn't bodybuild anymore because our bodies were so sore from the dancing.
Yeah.
We were just like getting home on a night and having a glass of wine and going to bed. We couldn't do anything.
Did you lose your gains?
Yeah, but I do that every year anyway.
Okay.
That's like what I'm known for.
Okay.
Losing gains.
Losing gains. Okay. All right. Is it true that you've discussed with Cedric McMillan doing a posing routine someplace together?
Yeah, he messaged me because I got to sit next to him at the Meet the Pros, the superstars table.
Yeah.
The day after the Olympia, and I was sat next to Cedric and Juliana on the other side, and I was just like, what the hell? Why am I here?
Yeah.
And then he messaged me on Instagram, and he'd mentioned about doing a little routine together. As long as this was the real Cedric, not some like Cedric McMillan.
An imposter.
Yeah. But yeah, and we were talking about doing some, something really beautiful and artistic, and like I'd be so up for that because he's one of my favourite.
Look at Charles. Charles behind you. Oh, there he is. Oh, look at what a nice guy.
He's going for his. He's going for his once a week gym session.
Okay, that's plenty. Once a week.
Yeah. So I would love to do something like that with Cedric because of the shape of the shapes that he can make with his body when posing. I really love like the classic shape of bodybuilders.
Let's talk a little bit about your rookie year while we're on that subject. So you won your pro debut at the Dallas Europa. Straight first places, well done. So then you get to Olympia. Didn't go quite as the way you would hoped it would. I think you were like second call out, or anyway, I remember seeing you were a little down in the dumps, you and Giles leaving the expo and stuff. But the next morning at that superstar seminar, you ended up becoming rookie of the year, and you're sitting there in a Minnie Mouse dress with Phil Heath and Oksana, all these people, and Bob Ciccarello actually introduced you as the Oksana Women's Physique with your posing. Yeah. So was it really, was this whole award thing unexpected? Did you have any idea you were getting it?
I had no idea. Like, I didn't even know about this award. Like, Giles knows much more about bodybuilding than I do. So he was telling me how incredible this was to get this Rookie of the Year award, and I was like, I don't know what it is. I don't know. And
you're good.
Yeah. This is it was surreal because the Olympia. I didn't think that I should have placed any better. But I was down in the dumps because I wasn't happy with how I looked, and just the whole prep had been a difficult one, and for me it was not a success. Even though it was a success, I felt down about how I'd handled the prep. So when we found out that I'd got the Rookie of the Year, this was actually the best part about the whole trip. It was really a lovely way to end. And we'd been to the gala the night before, which is where all the awards were given out.
Yeah.
And I'd eaten too much.
Well, it's a buffet, isn't it? So yeah.
Yeah, so we had to leave. I was like, Giles, we're going to have to go. I don't feel well. We're going to have to go. And sat with Ryan Terry, and he was like on his third dessert as well.
How you doing?
Yeah, so we snuck off, and then the next morning I woke up and I had a few messages off people saying, "Oh, you got the Rookie of the Year award." So they'd called it out, and obviously it just went silent, and I wasn't there. And yeah, and so we arranged to go to the Superstars seminar, and Bob very, very kindly said, "Why don't you get up?" And I was like, no. And he was like, "Go get up." And I sat up there and I was like, I'm sure everyone's looking, thinking, who the hell is this? Obviously, I didn't know I was going to be sat up there, so I was dressed in my stupid Minnie Mouse outfit.
Stupid, it's adorable. Come on.
Everyone else was in like tracksuits and stuff, and I'm just sat there in the middle in a Minnie Mouse dress. So yeah, it was surreal, and it gave me a real boost. Actually, it gave me a lot of. It was really nice sat there listening to all the other pros. You know, the top, the elite, and hearing the passion and then the dedication that they have. And it was a real kind of wake-up call for me, actually, of what it takes to not just be a pro, but to be one of the best pros. It's like going from here to here, you know. So it taught me a hell of a lot, being able to sit there and listen to them, and listen to, like, when Cedric was talking, he was getting emotional, and it was really beautiful, and it made me think a lot about what I want to do and how much I want this.
Now, you prepped yourself for a long time, but now you're working with Patrick Touar from Belgium, right? He's from Belgium? Switzerland, sorry, everybody. Geography class was many years ago. But so how did that come about? How did you start working with them, and what do you like about Patrick's approach to prep?
Yeah, Patrick's awesome. Giles had known him for a long time, and they used to work together because Patrick preps an awful lot of athletes. And when Giles used to need interesting or up-and-coming athletes, he would, for the magazines, he would go to Patrick and say, anyone interesting that I need to interview, and so on. So when I decided that I really needed to knuckle down and make some big changes to my physique to get my pro card, Giles got in touch with Patrick and just said, would you be interested? Would you help my partner and prep her? And he was really excited to do that. And the first year we worked together, it was just like a dream. I just listened to what he said. He listened to what I said. We both have the same vision of what we want to achieve with my look, the overall package. And he's always really open to listen to my own experience and what I feel as well. So that works very well for me. And really, he takes no like BS. He doesn't like any whining. He, you know, you've got to really prove to him that you're a top athlete and that you want this and that you're dedicated, and you're not, you're not wasting his time. And I like that. And sometimes it's hard to work with someone who's like that, but it has elevated me as an athlete, and that, that is what I need. So I will take the rough with the smooth for sure. Yeah.
Now, you've been making some posts recently about your prep and how this prep for Tampa is, I don't think you've been saying easier, but you're saying it's just a better overall prep than last year for Dallas Europa. What's different about this prep, and why is everything going better for you this time?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different factors, but I think one of the main things is that when I started the prep for Dallas last year, I just don't think that I was mentally prepared for it. I'd spent so many years focusing on getting my pro card, and then I only had 2 months. I got my pro card, then I had 2 months rest, and then it was on to my my pro debut.
Wow.
And I don't think I had any time to refocus.
Yeah.
So there was never any crossover time where I could get myself into a new state of mind where I was like, okay, now I'm a pro. Now this is what you need to focus on. You need to do A, B, and C to become better. So the minute I started my prep in the January, it was just all over the place. I was struggling. I was tired. I didn't want to train. Every single gym session, I just hated it. And I was like, how can I do something that I don't even enjoy? This is crazy. Like, I was really dragging my heels through the whole thing. And then, of course, I didn't look my best because of it. So what I did this time when I finished at the Olympia was I went off and did this dance production.
Yeah.
So I completely turned my back on everything bodybuilding for a little while. I didn't have any sort of diet. I focused just on mental and physical health. So I started studying a little bit of NLP, the neuro-linguistic programming.
Oh, yeah.
Which has been really incredible for me, just to kind of try and break some of my old habits, because I used to, when I was on prep, I would spend a lot of time craving the foods I couldn't have. And that is so stressful.
Yeah.
You know, you can't focus properly because you're just thinking about this sugary, I want food. And it really sends your cortisol so high and gets you into such a state of anxiety. So I did a little bit of work whilst I wasn't on any regime.
Yeah.
I did some work with the NLP to break some old habits. And that has just made it so much easier, because now I can prep and I just want my fish. I really want my salmon.
Wow.
I don't want anything else. I'm not interested. I don't have that little voice telling me to eat something else. And oh my God, it's just like prep is so easy when you can just diet and focus on what you need to do.
Right.
So that was one of the big things. And I did some work on getting my gut healthier. So I was looking at just when I came off the prep for the Olympia, I started eating only organic foods. So I didn't go off and have like binges or eat junk or anything. I ate organic food. I was putting things like kombucha and kefir into my diet to raise my the probiotics. Yep. and the good bacteria in my gut. I'd done a lot of work on my posture and flexibility, so it was really like a little bit of rehab, like mental and physical rehab, to make sure that I was 100% before I started prepping again. Yeah. And you know, it's paid off.
Some random stuff I'm going to ask. I know you and Giles was part of the Ronnie Coleman Signature Series company for a while, so Ronnie was over there quite a bit, over in the UK and other parts of Europe. Did you actually get to become friends with Ronnie pretty well and train with him a few times, or more than a few times?
Yeah, we spent a bit of time with Ronnie. Really, we just love Ronnie. He's so lovely. Yeah. And it was an incredible time for both me and Giles working with all the guys at RCSS. Yeah, I've just got fond memories really with them, and Ronnie still messages on my Instagram with a lot of support. Yeah. When I'm getting ready for competitions. I think he's a fan of my physique, which is just crazy. So nice. So yeah.
Now you guys have, I want to say it's like 100 reptiles for pets. Is it 100 or more than 100?
No.
Oh, I thought it was 100. No.
No, I think the numbers change because Giles goes out and buys new frogs as and when I'm prepping for a competition. Giles goes weird. Like he starts buying loads of comics and reptiles. It's like his little outlet. But we have, I think we have maybe like 30 pets.
Okay, that's enough.
Yeah, it's close enough.
You have a python, a royal python?
Yeah, I have a royal python called Buddy,
Okay.
named after Ronnie Coleman's. Yeah, Buddy.
Yeah, buddy, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, he's really sweet, and we've got frogs and geckos, tarantula, and my favourite though are my 3 cats.
Cats?
Yeah,
Oh.
I do like the fluffy ones best.
I thought everything had scales at your house, no? Okay.
No, my 3 babies, my cats as well.
Giles had talked about maybe getting I think it was like a river monitor lizard. Some lizard was going to be like 6 feet long. Any progress on that?
No, but Giles talks about getting penguins and all sorts.
All right, I don't know about penguins. I don't think that's realistic.
If we ever ended up like millionaires or anything, I think we probably would be those crazy people that had like a tiger or something in the back room.
Tony Montana had a tiger in Scarface.
Yeah.
I have a special imitation request because you did this a couple of years ago with the Arnold. I thought it was hilarious. Could you please do your American accent for us?
Oh my goodness! What? Tell me something to say.
Tell us like how great Giles is in your Valley Girl accent.
Oh my God, Giles is so amazing. That's why I fell for him in 2013.
See, people, I do it for you guys, the fans. Okay. Last question for you, Rosie. Obviously, your goal is to win Tampa next weekend. What are your overall goals for this year? Beyond that,
this year, I would really love to win Tampa with straight firsts.
Yeah.
I would love to get top 6 at the Olympia. I would, if I can just get to do my routine at the Olympia, that would make me happy. Okay. And then after that, the goal is to really work on the big projects that we have, which is the Rascal, all the Rascal branding. So a female supplement range, the Rascal range, focusing on health, and eventually bringing out some organic supplements as well. Also all my coaching, just keep excelling with all of that. And maybe a little Rascal clothing range, some cute little Rascal bandanas.
Okay. Where can people stay updated on all these projects?
So there's my website, the rosie-rascal.com, Instagram Rosie1Rascal, and then of course there's going to be the YouTube channel. The Rosie Rascal with the Tiger and Rascal show. So yeah, you're going to be, probably everyone's just going to be completely sick of me within the next 12 months.
Definitely, Rosie. People are going to be so tired of hearing you and seeing you. Yeah, right. So, okay, cool. I'm pleased to announce I will be in Tampa covering the event for MD, so I'll be there to make sure everyone gets plenty more Rosie for your viewing pleasure. So I'll wish you good luck, but I think you put your work in, and Patrick has also put the work in with you. So I think things are going in the direction they're supposed to from all the pictures I've been seeing. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So I just want to thank you very much for the interview and wish you the best of luck in 10 days or so, I believe it is.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.